Hello and welcome. Today is an exciting video because we are going to be building another PC. All the parts totaling out to just under $600. I'm going to be leading you through all the parts, the building process, the installation, and then we're going to test this thing out in a few games to see how it stacks up. But before that, let me run you through the parts I picked for this PC. Starting off with the CPU, I ultimately ended up going with the i3-12100F. This thing is a beast when it comes to gaming, especially for the price. I was able to pick this thing up brand new on Amazon for about $95. For the motherboard, I ultimately ended up going on the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4. This thing supports up to an LGA 1700 socket, so will fit all the way up to 14th gen CPUs, along with DDR4 and PCIe Gen 4 speeds, with a micro ATX form factor as well, coming in for only $100 brand new on Amazon. For memory, we're keeping it pretty simple, going with a 16 gigabyte kit from Corsair. This is 2 by 8 gigabytes at 3200 megahertz with a CL timing of 16. For the storage, we're going with a SODIMM 1 terabyte NVMe M.2 SSD. This thing does support up to PCIe Gen 4 speeds, so it's going to be able to take advantage of the feature from the motherboard as well. The power supply for this build is the Thermaltake Smart 600 watt. This thing is 80 plus certified and will work fine for this build, though I do feel like 600 watts is a bit on the low end, but it should work out just fine. For the graphics card, this is the only item I actually got used. It's the RX 5700. I was originally going to go with the 5700 XT, but I couldn't really find any good deals in my area. This thing I was able to get for about $145 in really good condition. I also did make sure to open it up and clean it beforehand, switching out all the thermal paste and thermal pads and whatnot. We're also going to be throwing in some $25 cable extensions just off of Amazon. These things tie PC together. If you're not using cable extensions, I don't know what you're, please use cable extensions. It makes the PC look so much better. And for the case, we are going with the Monotech Air 100A RGB. This thing is a micro ATX case with 4 pre-installed ARGB fans, as well as a nice mesh front panel, so I think it'll work really well for this build. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, we can dive right into the build. All right, starting off with the motherboard here. We have some SATA data cables, which we don't exactly need right now. We also have a nice little M.2 heatsink right there, which is always appreciated. And of course, we are going to be using the stock cooler for this because the 12100 doesn't really take a lot to cool it, so it should be more than enough. Nice, get that in there. Also, I think this motherboard does support 12th gen chips right out of the box, so we won't have to flash the BIOS or anything. Next on our list is the RAM. This is Corsair Vengeance LPX. It's just a simple 16 gigabyte kit right here. It's pretty low profile RAM, but to be fair, at $600, we don't really need it to be very flashy. Of course, we're going to be putting them in slots 2 and 4 to take advantage of some dual channel speeds. Nice, there we go. Let's just get the SSD installed right away, and then we'll get the cooler right after that. There we go. Nice. Now I can peel off this. Screw this down. Nice. All right, let's get the cooler in next. I'm pretty sure Intel coolers still work the same way as they always do with these, with these push pin things they got going on. Got some nice pre-applied thermal paste. You'll love to see it. I forget if there's a certain direction this has to go in. If I can figure this out. I forget how this works. I don't know which side it wants me to twist from. We're just gonna roll with it, actually. So actually, I want to orient this the correct way because we got a CPU fan header right here. So we're gonna angle it like this. Like that. I'm pretty sure. Okay. There we go. I'm pretty sure. As far as I know, it's stuck on there pretty well. So we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna just go ahead and plug this into the CPU fan header right here. Motherboard is done, and we can move on to installing this in the case. All right, the case. Ignore the mic. I had to sort of jerry-rig it because I had another mic that I could put on top of my camera, but I lost my frame mount. The thing up on top of the yeah. It's not going too hot today. All right. Nice, there you go. There's the case. There's a little mesh in there, which I don't know if we'll need right away. I'll put it in there for now. Otherwise, really nice swinging door, which we can just easily remove. Very, very convenient for building.
I'm sorry, this seems like a very bad IO shield. Like, there is things that need to be popped out or something. Like, wait, what? Like, literally, wait. Literally, this should not be here. This part right here literally covers DisplayPort. As well as this right here. There we go. Okay, IO shield is in. My gosh. That was an experience. Hang on. I need screws. Sorry, what? I just realized I don't even have screws. This case should give me screws, right? Should give me screws. Did I put them in the back, maybe? Where are the screws at? Oh wait, hang on, I see a little. Is this all the screws? Oh yeah, these look like them. Why would you put them in there? All right, I got most of the cable work done in the back. It's not the prettiest thing. Either way, we're gonna go on to installing the power supply now. Again, it is modular, so there's probably gonna be a lot of extra cables we don't need, which is fine. Okay, cable extension time. I just realized I forgot to put the combs on these cable extensions. Nice thing with this pack is it comes with these kind of translucent kind of combs, as well as these full black combs as well. These extensions here are kind of a black and gray kind of thing. I think they look pretty good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna braid these up and then we're gonna go ahead and install them into the build. All right, so I got all the cable extensions connected and I got the cable combs on them. So now all we have to do is go ahead and plug them in. So I think starting off is gonna be the CPU cable, which we're gonna route right through the top here. Next, we're gonna get the 24 pin, wrap it around and pull it in. I think this is the right side. Yeah. Okay, so let's get in the graphics card real quick. Of course, the graphics card is the RX 5700. I was gonna go with the XT. I mentioned this before. One of the reasons why I ended up going with the 5700 instead of the XT is because of the price and the deal I found. Also because I checked PC Bottleneck Calculator and 5700 works a lot better with the 12100 than the XT does. All right, open up that PCIe lane. And we're gonna need to take out a good amount of these. Looks like 2 of them. I think, no. Are you kidding me? No shot. No, hang on. No shot. What? These are like the pop-out things. What? Dude. Downside of this case, these things right here just pop out. You can't put them back in. That's like old school. All right, dang, I thought we moved past that, but apparently this case still uses it. That's weird. All right, either way, I guess we're rolling with it. There's a graphics card in. All right, so I got everything hooked up. You can see graphics cards hooked up, cable extensions are hooked up. We're gonna ignore the fact that it's a hurricane in the back. I swear I'll fix this. I just wanna make sure it works. So I have it plugged in back here. I wanna turn it on. Moment of truth. And we have lights. Fans are spinning. GPU's working too. Let's go. All right, so next step for the PC, we got it all working. Other than that, I did find out a cool thing about this case actually, and that's that this entire front panel here is literally just magnetic and comes straight off, which is so convenient. I actually kind of love that about this case. All right, so next step is going to be actually fixing this mess of cables in the back. All right, so I spent a bit. I did some cable management in the back. My goodness, is it hard to do cable management when there's this many cables. This is what I ended up with. Down here is kind of a mess. It's a mess, to be honest with you. It was better than what it was before, which is what we wanted.
And now that we're done building the PC, it's time to go ahead and install Windows and all the necessary drivers.
Now, installing Windows is a pretty easy process. All you need is just a USB drive with at least 8 or 9 gigabytes on it to fit the installation. Go to Google and you can just search up Windows 10 download here. And then you'd want to go to one of these websites from Microsoft. Again, this will be linked in the description so you can find it easily. And simply click the Download Now button. You want to make sure that your USB drive is plugged in. Now, when you download this, it should end up in your Downloads folder. It should be this media creation tool. Make sure that a USB drive is plugged in, because when you do that, you want to make sure it creates an installation media that goes right to the USB drive. And then you're able to just plug that in and your PC should boot right up to it, where you can then install Windows. All right, so we are currently installing Windows. One thing you are going to notice when installing Windows, we're installing Windows 10 Pro here. It's going to be asking for a product key. Now, I don't personally have one yet, and Microsoft charges about $150 or something for these, and we're smart, we're not going to pay for that. But later in the video, I am going to show you how to get a Windows 10 Pro CD key for super cheap. We're going to be doing this by using a program called yourcdkey.com. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of people recommend this, and it's completely legit as well. All right, now we have Windows fully installed. The next thing we have to do is actually go ahead and install all of the drivers for the motherboard and the graphics card. We're going to want to search up our motherboard, which is the Gigabyte B760M DS3HDR4. You can see this is by Gigabyte. We can see all the drivers they offer here. Now we're going to go over and just search up our motherboard. So we have an RX 5700, search up driver, and we should see this website from AMD right here, 5700. Beautiful. And that's going to go ahead and download those drivers there. So next, what we need to do is actually enable what's called XMP in the BIOS. It will basically allow the RAM to run at its full speed, because actually if we open up Task Manager, go to Performance and then Memory, we know that this kit is supposed to be running at 3200 megahertz, and instead it's running at 2133, which is not what we want. Generally, motherboards come with XMP not enabled, so we just want to hit the Windows key, go to restart, and then while it's restarting, we just want to enter the BIOS by spamming the delete and F2 key. All right, so I just want to go over to XMP. Let's just go profile 1. I want to go save and exit. Yes, and now when we reboot, it should be running at the full 3200 megahertz. Now if we go here, it should go in the performance tab. Yep, we're running a good 3200 megahertz, which is what we want. All right, so downloading a CD key for Windows is actually pretty easy. We're going to be using a website here called yourcdkey.com. Again, I'm using Windows 10 Pro, so I'm going to be using this MS Windows 10 Pro OEM key Global Lifetime. You can see by default, it's only at $22.66. Signing up is, by the way, completely free as well, though they do have a ton of deals and discounts. You can see one right here. This code we can copy to get 20% off. And then when you go to buy, you can type in your code here. So we can go this code and then apply. And you see that brings us down to $17.81. Your CD Key has sponsored like a bunch of YouTubers in the past, so you can use a bunch of codes from them as well. TechSource is the biggest one that comes to mind. I think I used their code to get it for only $15.08 as well. Obviously, it's not sponsored for me, but I couldn't recommend them more for CD keys. And then upon ordering, they'll send the code to your email within minutes. And then you just want to go to your activation settings and go change product key, type it in here, click next, and you'll be good to go. Of course, I will have this linked in the description below, along with a Windows 11 Pro CD key, which I believe comes in for around $20 with codes as well. The only other step now is to test this thing out in a couple games and see how it performs.
So, a little bit of an issue. I went to go benchmark some games, and Steam decided to take forever to install things. Now, this wouldn't have been an issue, but the person I was building it for ended up picking up the PC earlier than I thought, so I only had time to play a little bit of CS2, which, by the way, ran all high settings very well. But before I actually, wiped everything and got it all cleaned up for the guy I was building it for, I made sure to run Firmark, which is a GPU benchmarking software, just to really push the GPU, because, again, it's the only used item, and I wanted to make sure that everything was good on it. I also made sure I have HW monitor open to actually measure the temps. By the way, idle temps for the i3 were just around 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, which is really good considering it's just using the Intel stock cooler. That wasn't under load though. The GPU under load though ended up getting around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius at its highest. I really wish I was able to benchmark a bunch more games. I just simply didn't really have enough time. The 1200 and 5700 work really well together, and I did make sure to link a full benchmarking video with those two paired together just to see how they perform. If you guys are really curious, they work great together, and I highly suggest them, especially for this budget of a build. If you can snag snag a good deal for that GPU. Again, the full benchmark video will be linked in the description. I did not make it, someone else made it. They did a much better job with a lot of variety of games, better than I could have done. So if you're really interested in how they perform together, make sure you go check that out in the description below. And I did want to thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did enjoy it, then please consider subscribing. I mean, it's free, and also leaving a like really helps out with the algorithm as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I know my upload schedule just sort of doesn't exist right now. I promise I'm working on it. I have a bunch of bangers planned for 2024, so definitely don't miss out on that. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.